So guys, it's time. I know this is the most anticipated part of the guide. Everyone wants to know how to use V-Trigger 1. This is, if not one of the hardest things to learn about Menat. It is also one of the best, if not the best V-Trigger currently in Street Fighter 5. There's so much depth, there's so much knowledge that you need to put in to learn this game, to learn this character, to learn this V-Trigger. And I'm going to try and help you guys to break this down a little bit. Before that, I do want to say that because I'm covering V-Trigger 1, I'm not so well informed about V-Trigger 2. It's not something that I've ever spent time into learning, because for me personally, V-Trigger 1 offers me so much more enjoyment, depth, and like understanding with matchups that I don't believe that there is a use for V-Trigger 2 for my Menat. Now, with that being said as well, I know a lot of Menat players do like to use V-Trigger 2 because it is easier to use. It's 2 bars and it gives you good access to burst damage. I'm not saying V-Trigger 2 is bad at all. I'm just saying that for me personally, I see no reason to use V-Trigger 2 over V-Trigger 1. Now, all of that being out there, let's get straight into this V-Trigger 1 guide, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. If you have any feedback you'd like to give, or any questions, let me know and I'll try and address it in either a bonus video or replying in the comments down below. Thank you everyone for the support as always. I'm so glad you guys have been enjoying these parts, and let's get into this V-Trigger 1 stuff. Okay, so while we're going into this, let me quickly show you guys my layout and the controller I use when I'm playing this game. So I'm currently using an arcade stick, and I know some of you guys will be on pad, and you would have heard that V-Trigger 1 is super hard to use on pad, but I'm gonna tell you guys that there are successful cases of Menat players who use V-Trigger 1 on pad, namely specifically Zenith, who made Capcom Cup in 2019. He qualified using Menat V-Trigger 1 on pad and he was very successful, so it is definitely possible. Mostly you will find that Menat players who use V-Trigger 1 will be on stick though, so I'm not going to tell you guys exactly how easy or hard it is to play on pad if you do, but I'm going to try and show you guys how to use it anyways. So on my arcade stick, I have my top buttons set to my punches and my bottom buttons set to my kicks. And then here we have my lights, these top 2 here, mediums, heavies, and then my all 3 punches and all 3 kicks. Now, I'm going to show you guys on screen that I currently use type A buttons, which means that this is the default layout for Street Fighter 5. I'm sure a lot of you would have used this layout as well. If you have changed it, don't worry too much. You can still apply what I'm saying to your layout, but just know that for my entire guide, I'm going to be showing you based on type A style buttons. Cool. Right, so now that we're into this part, let's go into the V-Trigger now. Let's learn a little bit of the basics of the V-Trigger. So the way I like to think about this V-Trigger that makes it really easy to remember when you're learning it is that Menat is facing towards the opponent. So the orbs that are in front of Menat, the 3 orbs that are in front of her, belong to the kick buttons on your stick or controller. The orbs behind Menat belong to the punches. Then, the way I like to look at it is that since it's in 3 layers, top, middle, low, I like to use this kind of like saying where, because the orbs at the top have like no weight, they can float, they're the light orbs. The medium orbs are the middle ones, so those are the ones tied to the mid buttons, the medium kick, medium punch. And the heavy buttons, because they weigh the most, are at the bottom. They are tied to the heavy punch and heavy kick. Now I know that's a bit of a silly way to look at it, but it's always made it easier for me to remember which buttons are tied to which orbs. I'm going to show you guys here that the light kick orb, I'm going to press light kick now and release the light kick orb. Top front of Menat, the light punch orb, top behind Menat, the medium kick orb, middle in front of Menat, the medium punch orb, middle behind Menat, the heavy kick orb, bottom in front of Menat, and the heavy punch orb behind Menat at the back, at the bottom. Those are how her buttons are tied to these different orbs. And if you use that kind of way I've spoken about it, it might be a little bit easier for you. You might find your own way. It's just a little thing that I like to talk about when I'm remembering, because these are 6 orbs tied to 6 buttons. And they can be quite confusing at first, because at least when I was learning Menat, I would want to release a heavy orb and press light punch, and it would be like, oh shoot, light is at the top, and I would forget. So when I started using little things in my mind to remember this, it became a lot easier for me. And I hope that is helpful for you guys, because realistically, this is going to take a while to get used to. So don't beat yourself up if it's taking you a while to get used to how this V trigger works, because it's not easy at all. The next thing I want to show you guys is how to release each orb. Now you can release these orbs in a multitude of ways. You can double or triple tap a button. So you see there, I triple tapped medium kick and I got the medium kick orb to release. You can hold the button, or we like to call it negative edge in the fine game community, but I'm going to break it down so it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to show you guys quickly on my arcade stick that I'm going to release the medium punch button. And how I'm going to negative edge this is I'm going to press this button right here. This is my medium punch. And I'm going to hold this button. And I'm going to go back now to my PS4 scene on my OBS. And you can see here, if you're looking at my camera, that I'm still holding this button. Oh, it disappeared. Okay. Let's do this again. I'm holding my medium punch button like this, right? And then I'm gonna release the button, and you see the orb goes away. So you can hold and then release a button, and then an orb will follow with it, whichever button you're holding. It's the same if you were to hold the heavy punch or the light punch, light kick, medium kick, heavy kick, any of those buttons. The next thing I'm gonna show you guys is how to release orbs from specials. So you know that Menat has 2 special moves. She has Soul Throw and she has Soul Sphere. If you use Soul Sphere specifically, which will be tied to her 3 punches, you will see that when you use the special move, the button that you use will also come out with the Soul Sphere that you throw. So I'm throwing medium Soul Sphere, and you've seen, without holding the button or anything, the medium punch V-Trigger 1 orb followed behind it. And if I was to recall using heavy punch, you would see that the heavy punch orb follows behind it. So if you do throw out a special and you don't, you will have the orb follow it. So I'm going to show you guys now how to avoid that. So if you want to avoid that, throw out the Soul Sphere, but then hold the button. So again, I'm going to try and show you guys. I'm holding the medium punch button here. I know it's a bit difficult to see because of the way that the scene is, but I'm holding the medium punch button like so. I know it looks like I'm swearing at you guys. I'm not. Sorry. And then if I release the medium punch button, you'll see that the orb goes flying. So if you don't want the orb to come out when you throw out a Soul Sphere, just hold the button down to make sure that it doesn't come out. And the final thing I want to show you guys quickly with regards to this is how orbs fly off. So you guys can see, if I just throw out each orb, it kind of goes directly out towards my opponent. It doesn't track the opponent at all. It just goes straight forward throughout the screen, right? Like just out like that. But what I'm going to show you guys here is what happens if you throw out an orb from either jumping. So I'm going to jump and I'm going to release my light punch orb, and you can see it comes directly downwards. And now I'm going to backdash and release my medium punch orb, and you're going to see it goes downwards like that. So you can throw out orbs in 2 different ways. Either if you're airborne, which is backdashes count as airborne, right? And jumping, and the orbs will go directly down, or you can just release them while you're grounded and they will go straight throughout the screen, like so. And it just depends where the orbs are on the screen is how they will travel. So the high orbs you will see will go over my opponent, but the medium and heavy will hit my opponent. So those things there are a little important when you're understanding Menat's V Trigger 1. If there's anything that I'm forgetting that you guys want to know, let me know and I'll try and address it. Okay guys, so we're gonna now look at a basic Menat V Trigger 1 combo, and this isn't gonna be optimal. This isn't what you're gonna see most high level Menat players using, but this is the combo that we're going to use just to show you guys how the orbs work as a part of a combo and get you used to some of the like timings and input tricks that you need to use when you're using this character. For this purpose of this exercise, I'm gonna show you some of my input tricks that I use as well, and because this is a different combo, the input tricks that I use will be a bit different from the optimal ones, but I'll explain those as well. So we start off. And usually the combo start with Menat at the mid-range is slide. So down forward medium kick. And then as you're recovering from your slide, as you're in input for your slide and you're just connecting with your opponent, you want to hold and release the medium kick button while you're doing this slide, so that as you're recovering, you release the medium kick orb, and then you're plus enough to get a combo off. So you can time this depending on however close or far, and you'll get used to this, but you press and hold the medium kick for like just an extra half a second, and then release, and then there you go. It will combo and you'll be plus enough to combo. So you see I'm like plus 18 there, right? Combo. So then we go medium kick slide, crouch fierce, medium punch soul sphere, and you see that I have 5 inputs there. So this is something that I like to do just to make sure that the punch orbs are a little bit more consistent. This is my specific input trick. You can time the heavy punch, medium punch orb releases in V Trigger to if you don't feel comfortable with mashing it out. But for me, triple tapping or quadruple tapping these inputs allows me to get the consistent timing that I need for the combo. So in that situation, I did crouch fierce, medium soul sphere, and then I released the medium punch V Trigger 1 orb. And I did a quadruple tap in this case, but triple tap would have worked as well, just to get the timing for it to combo. And this is something that my friend Brian taught me when he was teaching me this character as a consistent way of getting the orbs out. He's like, why are you going to make your life harder for yourself when you don't necessarily need to, when you can learn these input tricks and make it more consistent for you? And I agree with that. However, with the kick orbs, medium kick, heavy kick, you'll find that you need to manually time those, and that's something that you'll get over time because you'll become more familiar with the character. And again, I'm going to show you guys the first 2 parts of this combo. So medium kick slide. And there you go. That's the first part of the combo, right? Well, the first 2 parts, the first 2 V Trigger orbs. Following this, we're going to do slide, crouch fierce, medium soul sphere, heavy kick, crouch medium punch, heavy punch soul sphere, dash crouch medium kick recall. Break that down. We did the first part, then we do stand heavy kick, crouch medium punch, medium soul sphere, and then you either double or triple tap the heavy punch, whichever one you feel more comfortable doing, and then you dash. It gives you the timing to dash, crouch medium kick, recall, and then you can carry on the loop. The reason why I actually double tap for this loop, because this is the easy loop just to teach you the combos. You guys quickly, when you use the combo that I usually use, you'll see that I actually triple tap because the timing changes a little bit differently, right? Of heavy punch soul sphere, and that's one of the more optimal ones you'd use. But in the easy one, you can double tap or triple tap, whichever one you're more comfortable with. After this now, we're going to use heavy kick orb as part of the loop. So you see, I'm manually timing the heavy kick in this situation. And actually I did manually time the heavy punch orb, but that's because I'm so used to it now. And this is the easier combo in quotes. It's still going to be quite difficult when you're learning it. Don't think that I'm trying to tell you this is easy by any means, but it's one of the easier routes to learning the V Trigger with Menat. So you manually time the heavy kick. The way I like to think of it is, as I press the medium kick, the medium punch soul sphere, I just tap heavy kick on my arcade stick just after it, and you can see it in my inputs. I tap it just after, just to get the timing. This then allows me to get dash, crouch, medium kick, recall, and then the final part of the combo. So I'm gonna actually, let me just show you what it all looks like again. So all of that, that's what it looks like so far, right? the final part of the combo to use these last two orbs, we do this. So you do a walk forward, crouch fierce, crouch heavy V skill. Then, after the crouch heavy V skill, what I want you to do is hold your stand light kick button. So again, I'm going to show you now. I'm going to release all of these 4 orbs, right? And I'm going to, let me make a save state to, oh, oops. Okay, so I'm going to show you now. I'm going to release these 4 orbs, right? And I'm going to make a save state here. And again, we only have these 2 orbs. So crouch heavy punch V skill, hold your light kick button just as you press the V skill. And then as the character's falling, release the light kick punch, and then do light punch soul sphere, and then tap light punch again. Then this allows you to get the soul spark combo. So you just do crouch fierce, crouch reflex, hold the light kick, then light punch soul sphere, press light punch again, and then you can do soul spark explosion, backdash, and you can then do CA. You can use 1 bar to finish the combo. You can use which is either heavy EX soul sphere or EX soul throw. You can do a couple things. You can do meterless combos if you want. You can maybe even do a setup if you guys really want to. So it's up to you. But that's basically how I would explain the combo. And I really do hope I broke that down enough, because I feel like one of the things that is a bit foreign to me is like breaking things down enough so that it's like really simple for you guys to digest. Because I kind of feel like I might have thrown a lot of information there at you guys, but I'm not really sure how to simplify that more. But if it is a little bit hard, this is usually how I teach people the V-Trigger, and the 2 or 3 people I have taught with this, they've said they've grasped it pretty good. But if you guys do need specific help, feel free to ask me, and I'll try and break this down a little bit more for you if this is too confusing or anything. But if not, I think that's how you do the most basic V-Trigger 1 combo. And again, this isn't the optimal combo, but this is something that I recommend you learn when you're picking up Menat, because it will teach you the timings for the different parts of the V-Trigger 1. Whereas if you went into learning the more complicated stuff straight away, you'd probably struggle a lot more, and you wouldn't be used to the orb timings and the releases. So this is the combo that I used a lot when I was learning Menat, and then as I improved and got more comfortable with the V-Trigger, I started optimizing her a lot more. So again, I'm going to show you guys the complicated stuff in later parts of the guide, don't worry, they will be there. For now, that's the basic combo. I suggest practicing that, and hope that was helpful for you guys. The last thing I want to talk about, guys, in this first part is a basic V-Trigger 1 combo to use in the corner, because the one I showed you mid-screen isn't really applicable in the corner, and there's an easy version that you guys can use to practice if you have your opponent in the corner and you activate V-Trigger. So again, we're going to start off the same way we started off with V-Trigger 1 mid-screen, which is the slide. But following this now, after the slide, what we're going to do here is we're going to do crouch fierce into light punch soul sphere, and then we're going to double tap the medium punch orb. So I'm going to show you, and you see it comboed, and it leaves us at plus 20. That's the premise of this combo. We're going to use light punch soul sphere a lot, because when we use, it's easy to time the next part of the orb, and then it also gives us a little bit of an understanding of how to get the timing down, and it's also a quite damaging combo overall. So again, I'm going to show you now. And then you press stand heavy punch recall, and you see we're plus 27, we get another part of the loop. So that's like the first real part of the combo. Now again, we're going to do the double tap again for the heavy punch or V-Trigger orb. And again, you're seeing we're putting it together. So we did the same thing that we did for the medium punch orb, and then we get the recall, and then we loop it again, and we're seeing it's almost like a rhythm game. You can kind of think of it like you can kind of listen to it, and you can kind of memorize it that way if you are struggling. I would think of it that way because it's one of the easier ones to time, and by using the input tricks of like double tapping the punch orbs, it could really help you to like circumvent any mistakes with this combo. So now we're going to show you the last one, the heavy kick orb. So again, we're going to do the full combo. So you see, this time I only did one input for heavy kick, and it was like a really delayed one. So this is the one where you're going to have to practice the timing. Similar to the V1 mid-screen, the kick orbs are ones that require a little bit more timing. You can't really input trick, or at least I haven't found an input trick that I use to time these combos. So what you do is you slightly delay it, and you can get used to this timing, and then you just walk forward, stand heavy punch, recall. No dashes required in this corner combo. Recall, crouch face, or stand face, reflect, and then after the reflect you can do this. Release these two orbs, and then finally after these two orbs, so I'm going to show you what the whole combo looks like. You can follow up with anything you want. You can do CA, you can do heavy punch EX, heavy punch, medium punch EX soul sphere. You can do regular soul throw, EX soul throw. It's really up to you. So you know, we're going to show you the final time what this combo looks like. You see? Super easy. Like, once you get this down, I promise you, you will never drop. Oh, you might drop it 1 out of 10 times if you practice. But I'm telling you guys, once you practice this is the easiest combo. This is easier than the one I showed you guys mid-screen. So that's going to do it for the basic V1 combo part of this video. And again, I really hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be back to do more complicated stuff in the other parts of this guide. This is just to give you a rough idea of how to use these basic combos to get the orb timing down. And what I also want to say before I end off this part is that I want you guys to really use these parts in sequence. And I don't want you to try to learn all of these things as I'm uploading this immediately. I want you guys to go, okay, cool. So Shivs uploaded this V1 basics part. Maybe I'll watch all of them early on, but I'm going to come back to them and I'm going to spend a week just getting my V1 basic combos down, and then in the next one I'm just going to cover what he talks about. So I know in the next one I'm going to be talking about activation routes. Cool, I'm going to learn the different activation routes in the next one, and after a week I'll come back to it. So really focus on learning every part properly before moving on to the next one, so that you can really get quicker results. Because if you try to skip and come back, you're going to really mess up your muscle memory. And that's not something you really want to do when you're learning a character. You want to learn things properly and then come back, which is kind of why I took a little bit of a break before uploading the V1 stuff after I did the first 5 parts, because I wanted to give you guys enough time to really digest the information and the basics of Menat before going, cool, I'm going to bring back these V1 stuff now, and we're going to learn the real more fun part of Menat. So I wanted to take a little bit of time, allow people to sort of understand Menat as a character, and I wanted to get your feedback on what you guys really grasped out of those, and it would help me to structure the V1 stuff. Again, thank you so much everyone for the support. It's been crazy the first 5 parts, how much support you guys have given me. I genuinely really appreciate all of you. And what I would say is, I would appreciate if you'd subscribe to the channel if you're not, and check out my Twitch stream. Until then though, leave a comment and let me know what I can do better, and maybe I can address something in a bonus video, or I can tell you the answer directly. Just let me know. And thanks again for watching everyone. Take care.